Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Part von Tangle Tower. Ja, wir haben jetzt einen Verdachtsmoment hier mit Penny.
Yeah, we found this.
Oh, that's nothing.
You wrote, "Now I'll get her," on a piece of paper and hid it in your room. That's not nothing.
Actually, it's not the message I wanted to ask about. It's those red flower petals.
The petals.
They're from red roses, and there's only one place in Tangle Tower with red roses.
We need a clue. Something that shows the roses and who they belong to.
Warte mal, der Beweis für die Existenz der roten Rosen. Hab ich nicht.
It's a
Das
drawing
Bild.
of Fitz and Poppy in the rooftop garden. See what Fitz is holding?
I can't imagine what you're getting at, but it doesn't matter. I couldn't have taken anything from the rooftop garden. It's only accessible from Fitz's room or Poppy's room. How could I have taken something from a garden to which I have no access?
Is it really only accessible from those two bedrooms?
For most people, it would be. But don't forget, Penny's the resident ornithologist.
My dears, what are you accusing me of?
Einer von Pennys Vögeln. Ich habe keine Ahnung.
One of Penny's birds was given to Poppy and Fitz and distract them. Nope. Penny's flower was given to Poppy and Fitz and distract them. That's not right. One of Penny's birds was used to kill Poppy and Fitz and distract them. That's not right either.
Aber es funktionierte nicht.
One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz, but it didn't work. Almost. Maybe just change one thing. One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz and steal evidence from them. We know those two have been spending time together in the rooftop garden. I'm guessing you got paranoid. Wanted to know what they were up to.
I'm just not the jealous type. I would never suspect Fitz of anything like that. Besides, Tabitha hardly ever leaves her cage. She's certainly never flown up to the rooftop garden.
We need a clue to compare with Penny's birds. Something to prove one of them has been in the rooftop garden.
Ich weiß es, ich hab doch hier die Federn.
Let's take a closer look at these.
Die gelbe Feder wurde hinterlassen, als diese aus dem Dachgarten war.
Feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the rooftop garden.
I can't stand it! Knowing the two of them are hidden away up there in their private little garden. I couldn't risk spying on them myself, so I asked dear Tabitha to do it for me. I knew she'd be able to bring me back some evidence.
Sorry, Penny, but are you not overreacting a little?
You don't understand. Fitz is slipping away from me. He's so quiet with me these days. But being with Poppy seems to bring him out of his shell. I don't know what he sees in her miserable little... I apologize. This really isn't your burden to bear.
Okay. Ich würde mal sagen, wir reden mal mit Fitz. Fitz? Guck mal, wir haben hier ein Blümchen.
A flower. Yeah, it's a flower. We found it in Penny's room. Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to.
Sag mal, was bedeutet dir Penny
Penelope
denn
is my
eigentlich?
fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think she's... well, they make assumptions. And how's the relationship doing recently? Good. It's good.
Ja, so siehst du
Poppy
aus.
and I are friends. Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod. She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong?
Nö, gar nicht. Okay. Ach, ich mag das Spiel. Ich finde, das Spiel hat was. Aber wir wissen immer noch nicht, wer der Mörder von Freya ist, ne?
You know, I've always wanted one of those.
A mechanical solar system? What would you do with it?
I would look at it.
Ja, hier ist was.
Wait a minute, in the middle. Sun on the outside. How old is this thing?
Sehr alt. Drehe alle 5 Planeten, die Sonne und den Mond um die Mitte. Ich glaube, ich brauche einen Tipp.
Nothing.
So there are 2 ways to move the shadows. Rotate the planets and rotate the sun and moon.
Ich dachte, ich müsste jetzt hier im Prinzip... Oh, ist das anstrengend. Warte, zurücksetzen bitte. Ich muss vielleicht die Schatten nachmachen. Das wäre jetzt so meine Idee gewesen. In Winkel. Oh, die Tatsache, dass man das so schlecht sieht, ne, das ist so Wahnsinn. Oh, guck mal, du passt doch schon. So. Plus minus 0.
That's it.
Oh, das war ja anstrengend.
Nice work.
Ja, finde ich auch.
Did you hear that? Something unlocked.
There's a little hatch underneath. What's in there?
A bunch of paper. Looks like somebody's research.
Zeig mal. Goldener Käfer. Verschiedene Forschungsnotizen und Diagramme. 4. Der goldene Käfer. Den Namen trägt er, da sein Panzer aus einem Mineral besteht, das zu 90% mit Gold übereinstimmt. Hat eine Lebensdauer von mehreren Jahren. Er vertreibt Angreifer mit einem lauten Zischton, der 95 Dezibel überschreiten kann, ist gänzlich unverdaulich. Dieser Mystit hat einen etwas unberechtigten Ruf als Unglücksbringer für alle, die ihn erblickten. 4. Okay. Das heißt, es gibt noch Forschungsnotizen, 3 Stück.
Shh, listen. Do you hear them? The stars. They're whispering. So quiet and yet so loud.
What are they whispering about? Are they spreading rumors about us?
I shouldn't think they concern themselves with such insignificance. We are but specks of dust, you and I.
Mm-hmm. Could this speck of dust start by telling me his name?
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Seems like this tower belongs to the Pointers, and the other one belongs to the Fellows.
Well observed, my dear. Tangle Tower is something of a duality as it happens. Meaningless boundaries, really. They exist only in our minds.
Helpful.
Okay.
Me? Not much to say. Strictly speaking, I'm the current head of the Pointer family. And of course, father to my precious Poppy.
And a professional astronomer?
Oh no, that's just a little hobby. I mean, yes, I've studied the stars for over 35 years, published 17 books.
Just a little hobby.
Sounds like you're quite well known. You must bring in a good amount of money.
Oh dear me, no. My field of research has never yielded any kind of stable financial return, nor would I expect it to. I am nothing but a humble interpreter for the cosmos, working to translate its message so that I may share it with the world.
Cool. Tell the cosmos I say hi.
The day began as any other, with blissful, unremarkable routine. I took my usual morning walk around the gardens. Fresh air does wonders for the mind.
Did you see anyone else?
Penelope and Fitz were in the greenhouse together. I didn't bother them, of course. I sat for a while besides the pond in the garden. It's a favorite spot of mine. Eventually, I returned to my tower and buried myself in my studies for the afternoon.
Did you use your telescope yesterday?
Once the stars began to appear, naturally.
For how long?
I can't say. I've been known to lose hours at my telescope.
Did you see anything?
No actual discoveries, if that's what you mean.
So you were all alone up in the astronomy tower. Must have been a while before you found out what had happened to Freya.
Quite. Normally, I would be the last to find out about such a thing. But a curious tug of fate led me towards the fellow tower later that evening.
Na denn, erzähl mal.
I was at my telescope for the majority of the evening, but at one point I returned to my desk to look something up in a reference book. I couldn't find the book I wanted, so I figured Fiona must have borrowed it. I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall. I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library. She looked impatient and slightly frustrated.
Same as ever then?
Quite. I passed her by and went upstairs to Fiona's room. The door was locked, but I could hear shouting coming from inside. I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter. I had no desire to invade their privacy by eavesdropping, so I waited for them to finish and come out into the hall. Before I could ask about the book, Poppy grabbed my hand and took me upstairs along with Fiona. It was apparent that both of them had already been crying about something. We went up to Flora's tower. Freya was laying on her back, right in the middle of the room. Flora and Fitz were already there. They both looked stoic as ever. Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did, and then Fiona went downstairs with Poppy for some reason. I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Why did you leave so quickly? Wasn't there anything you could have done to help?
Don't take this the wrong way, but the whole ordeal is fellow family business. I'm quite sure they don't need me getting in the way at a time like that.
Was könnte ich dir denn geben?
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangle Tower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
Sehr gut.
So, which one is Tangle Tower?
What's that?
There are 2 towers, right? Flora's tower and your astronomy tower.
Neither? Truly, I have no idea. You'd have to ask Flora.
She named the house?
The whole thing is a result of her squabbling with her family.
With Felix, you mean? Her husband?
No, her brother and sister, and her father. The Remington family was a rather tumultuous little unit, you see. I don't think Flora has spoken with any of them in over a decade. Not exactly a wealth of information, is it?
It's enough.
A very old statue indeed. I'd recommend you leave it well alone. The poor fellow's in bad enough shape as it is.
That's all the statements.
Let's go over them all.
Lass mal durchgehen. Ach, jetzt gehe ich wieder dahin. Verdächtige Feststellungen.
All the statements collected. Let's run through them all to see if anything doesn't add up.
To see if anyone's been lying.
That too.
Fitz and I were up in the Moonlight Garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. It lasted about 3 seconds.
We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. So I made Fitz kick down the door.
Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back.
I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall.
But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared.
I didn't know what to do. So I ran downstairs to get Fifi.
I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room.
Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it, until the someone began shouting at me.
Eventually, she let me in.
I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library.
He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the fellow tower.
I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry.
I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter.
We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs.
I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path.
Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her.
Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did.
A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya.
Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting.
She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes.
I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything.
An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long, but when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
That's That's disappointing.
What is?
All the statements line up with each other.
Ja, ne?
They don't just line up. Some of them even seem to specifically confirm each other.
Ja, wir haben ja noch nicht alle Rätsel gelöst, ne? Da ist noch ein Rätsel. Kann ich nochmal dahin? Ich möchte mir ganz gerne nochmal die Statue
I'm still
angucken.
not sure about this.
Should we take another look?
Also, wir haben hier... Was für eine Glocke. Ich gehe davon aus, dass halt... Und wohl, dass ich in den Räumen halt vielleicht noch des Rätsels Lösung finden werde.
Let's come back
Glaube ich.
later.
Hier ist zum Beispiel ein Krabbelkäfer. Das heißt, im 4. könnte er schon mal
Should we take another?
im Vogel könnte er der hier sein.
Let's come back later.
Muss hier irgendwo eine Aufzeichnung geben. Dann war ja das Musikzimmer.
All right, you got your wish.
Spooky murder mansion?
Spooky murder mansion. Sheet music. It's handwritten.
That's a lot of notes. Looks pretty difficult.
Probably while they're on the floor.
Vielleicht doch nicht.
Oh, whatever it is, it's...
Well, it is the music room. He's gotta practice.
What's with all the broken glass?
Ich kann die aber... Poppy sagt, dass sie die nie beschädigt hat. Ja, aber wer dann? Achso, das ist was anderes. Gucken wir da nochmal. Wir hatten ja hier...
Nice.
How do you know
Why else would... Plus, there's a treasure map.
Also wir müssen sowas finden. Etwas, ein Dings, wo alles 3 drauf ist. Und die Piepmütze. Ach stimmt, hier sind keine Piepmütze. Ich habe die Piepmütze nicht gesehen. Ne, hier sind ja keine Piepmütze. Aber wenn du von hier guckst. Hier sind Piepmütze. Das könnte sein. Das ist in H6. H6 Westen. H6, keine Ahnung. Probieren wir aus erstmal H6. Hoppala.
Nothing.
Did you check the treasure map?
Ich meine, das
What
ist
about
jetzt...
that painting on the chest?
There we go.
Es war doch
Perfect.
H6 Westen. Und was ist drin?
What was in the box?
More wooden models. These are a little different to the one on the desk.
Zeig her, zeig her. Freya? Flora? Ein Modell, das ein Kind mit grünen Haaren ähnelt. Ein Modell, das einer Frau mit grauen Haaren ähnelt. Ein Modell, das einem rot-weißen Vogel ähnelt. Ein Modell, das einem breitschultigen Mann ähnelt. Die hölzernen Modelle wurden per Hand bemalt. Die Bemalung lässt zu wünschen übrig. In der Nähe befindet sich ein Farbtopf mit roter Farbe sowie ein Pinsel. Auf dem Pinsel ist die Farbe getrocknet. Ey, wach mal auf. Ich habe da eine Frage.
Ah, you found it. What do you think, huh? I had to rush the final touches a little bit. It turned out all right, though.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course, surrounded by all her favorite people.
Okay, favorite people.
There's something about the image of Flora in the painting. Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
Hi. Ich habe da mal eine Frage. Guck mal.
You haven't seen this yet, have you?
It's a little model of you. Who were the other people next to you?
Och, ey, Mädchen, ne? Könnte ich.
So, this painting, specifically that knife in Flora's hand.
Vielleicht ist es auch ein
It's
Fehler.
creepy. But we didn't find a knife anywhere in the room. So what's going on?
Es ist kein Messer.
It's not a knife. We need a clue to compare with the painting. Something to explain what that knife shape actually is.
Etwas, das einem Messerobjekt im Porträt ähnlich sieht. Fehler.
Kinda makes sense, but no. That's not it.
Ich habe, glaube ich, noch nicht alles gefunden.
That's not it.
Kann das sein?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Ich hab's anscheinend noch nicht.
That's not it. That's not it.
Let's take a closer look at this.
Stimmt, da, die Feder. Da, guck mal. Das Angemalte sieht aus, wurde gestohlen, wurde hierher raus hergestellt. Ist eigentlich eine Feder von einem Tintenklecksvogel.
Is actually just a feather from an ink-dip bird.
It's definitely the right shape, but the book's not in color. The thing Flora's holding in the painting is red and white, specifically. Is there anything to suggest that the ink-dip bird is red and white too?
Yeah.
This little thing? I
Yeah.
don't understand why Felix would make a model of this bird as part of a gift for Flora. And come to think of it, why would Flora be holding a feather in the painting anyway?
Warte mal. Der Tintenklecksvogel griff Flora an. Sie zerstörte... Nee, Quatsch, geht gar nicht. Das Grammophon. Als Druckmittel? Nee. Als Beweis eines Verbrechens? Hä? Nee. Warte mal, das macht schon als Andenken. Der Tintenklecksvogel war Floras Haustier. Sie behielt eine einzelne Feder als Andenken.
Bird was Flora's pet, so
Bam.
she kept a single feather to remember it by.
She kept the bird as a pet. And it died?
Maybe it flew away.
Flora spends all her time staring out the window.
Either way, she kept the feather. I think it was pretty important to her.
All right. So she was holding the feather while Freya was painting her. But where is it now? You'd think she'd keep it somewhere close by.
Yeah, I think she does. Normally. This is where Flora usually keeps her feather.
Das Ei! Das Ei! Das Ei! Wo ist das Ei? Da.
But we opened it. It's empty.
Mm-hmm.
Jemand hat die Feder gestohlen.
Empty. Flora? She's pointing at something in the corner of the room.
It's just a pile of books. They're not... Wait. There's something tucked inside this one.
Eine Zeichnung von Flora und einem kleinen Vogel. Auf der Rückseite steht eine handschriftliche Nachricht. Das ist für dich. Hab dich lieb. Kuss, Freya. Oh. Ja, okay. Jetzt bin ich aber trotzdem nicht viel weiter. Oh. Entschuldigung, ich musste gerade niesen. Aber ich bin so ein bisschen out of context. So, wir haben hier da noch ein Rätsel und wir haben da noch ein Rätsel. Auf jeden Fall. Und das. Ich glaube, die werde ich nachgucken. Ich muss jetzt eh den Part beenden. Ich sage auf jeden Fall Dankeschön fürs Zusehen. Ich hoffe, euch hat der Part gefallen. Wenn ja, dann gebt mir noch einen Daumen nach oben. Oder lasst ein Abo da. Ich würde mich sehr freuen. Und bis dahin sage ich Dankeschön fürs Zusehen. Auf Wiedersehen und bye bye.